Welcome back to the Lance Wallnau Show. Today, I'm particularly motivated and excited. This is Economic Day. I didn't start off there. I started off kind of, I was reading Andrew Womack, as a matter of fact, my good friend. I'm on his Truth and Liberty board. And Andrew really set me free. I was on vacation last week, and Andrew set me free because what did Andrew say? Andrew wrote, "You've got to put your faith to work." And he used different language than I've ever heard him use. He said, faith isn't some fragile thing you hope you can build up or you got to fortify. You've already got it. You've got to make it your servant and put it to work for you. Make faith your slave. Use that word, like a slave. It's your servant, and send it on its assignment. And something broke off of me, and I thought, man, my whole paradigm is messed up. And I shared it with Annabelle, and she got the same revelation. Put your faith out there like a servant working for you. Find out what God wants you to do. Make it like a target trajectory. Release your faith. Watch your confession. Keep your meditation level high. Bam! You're going to see things coming. Now, I have friends of mine who I've been watching do this in the area of prosperity. And while they're doing other kingdom stuff, it's not like this is their sole focus. But one person in particular is a subject matter expert who started out years ago as a student, just like you. But she got in the orbit of my cousin Billy. Now, cousin Billy is the secret sauce wealth guru who I go to for inside information. I call it rare air that he gives me on what's happening in the stock market, what's happening in finance, what's happening in business, and especially in real estate. Now, Billy has this wealth builder organization he started, and I got to tell you a real quick story here because I'm a little upset with cousin because. He told me, I'm doing an interview. He goes, you know what people should have been doing? When interest rates were zero. Remember when interest rates were zero for a while? He said it was a major goofy adjustment the government made because they were in such debt to get you to borrow money. They set it at zero. He said, every dollar I could get a hold of, I was putting into real estate. You'll never see that come back again. Now I'm training people what to do with the interest rates. And that window's passed. And I said, cousin, why didn't you tell me that? Well, he said, you didn't ask. I can't. So now I'm asking all the time, cousin, what's cooking? Because I got to find out. And then he tells me what's going on. Well, right now we got Karen Conrad. Would you please join us? Because you're a model to me, a practitioner. You work with cousin Billy. He was coaching you, and sometimes he's been like a tough mentor, and I love that because he trains people like a Marine. But I talk to you all the time, and now you and Dave, you've done like 9 properties in various ways. 9 properties. This is amazing. I'm still living in the same house. So now I'm getting jealous, godly jealousy, stirring up the Jews to jealousy. That's what the Gentiles are supposed to do. So talk to me about what have you done differently over these last years that has you in this wealth position as a loving Christian, full of faith, working with cousin. What did you learn?
Well, we learned a lot, of course, from cousin Billy, and he is definitely our mentor. But we really learned that for us to gain wealth, for us to create a legacy for our family, really for us to make an impact in the kingdom, we had to figure out how to build wealth. And in that, what Billy says his favorite thing to invest in is real estate. And so as we went to the workshops and we sat under the teachings, we read, we really looked into things. One day we looked at each other and we said, you know what? We need to just get in the game. So that's really what made the difference because we'd been learning, but until you get in the game, you are not going to be able to build wealth in real estate.
Wow. Now, Mercedes Sparks, you're here with me, and I admire both you ladies because you both have an entrepreneurial gift. Mercedes came alongside my ministry, and I'm like Andrew Womack, man. I was teaching faith. The Lord would not let me I understand business. I came out of like the Wall Street world, but the Lord will not let me go there. And I think for good reason. I stay focused on the word and on the anointing of what I'm called to do. But Mercedes came along and helped put our organization in a footing where I'm not struggling for the finances because we're strong financially. But she's got a gift like you've got in the entrepreneurial realm. And she's as excited as I am about what you're doing. So Mercedes, what would you like? How do you want to direct the conversation? What do you want to learn?
Yeah. So, I mean, to your point and putting your faith to work, and we live in a real time right now of economic uncertainty. And why I think it's so great to bring Karen on is because, I think she has a lot to contribute to the conversation. There's a lot of people right now who see the opportunity in real estate and wonder, well, can I still get in? Like interest rates have gone up from 3% to 6%, 7%. Should I wait? Should I get in the game now? And this is why we want to bring somebody like Karen in, because she's a practitioner. Like you said, she's learned so much from Billy, from years of just amazing. She's got a background in banking. So anyways, Karen, I'm going to throw it to you, because I want you to tell people why there is opportunity in the economic climate that we're in, because don't let this window pass you by is really what I want to tell people.
Yeah, and that's exactly right, Mercedes, because there is an opportunity that we have right now. And as children of God in the kingdom, if you look back on history, when the world looked like everything was falling apart, that's when the children of God prosper. And so I think that's one of the things for us to realize, hey, if we look around at this world, we could be discouraged, but this is the time where God gives us that knowledge, that understanding, and the wisdom to know how to prosper. So we get those questions a lot. What's happening? Should I hold on? Should I wait? And I would just tell you that when you are educated and when you know what to look for, it doesn't matter what is going on, because you run the metrics, you purchase property, and you make sure that you're going into it with the knowledge of, hey, I'm going in with all the numbers that I need to, and I am going to prosper. And so real estate, this is a great time to buy real estate. We're going in just very aggressive. We've got a lot of projects going on right now. So I would say, no, don't wait. But I would say get educated so that when you go in to make a decision of what to buy, you actually know what you're looking for.
Yeah. And I don't know if you had a question, but I wanted to follow up because, let's talk about rates. You've seen the rates go up. So where are they historically compared to where they are now? What are the options people have? Because rather than, I'd love for you to dispense some of this, stellar knowledge that you have in terms of why would we wait? And what are your options if you did get a property right now? Because I don't see people selling, right? It's like you don't see a lot of people selling right now because rates are high. But if you had cash, and talk about how easy it really is, you don't need a lot of money. You talk about strategies and ways of how really anybody can get invested and involved in this.
Yeah, let me just jump in here real quick, because this frustrates me with my own people who I want to teach. I want to help them. But like we do Birch Gold, and then they complain, I don't have any money for gold or silver. Well, listen, you start with what you've got, and knowledge is currency. So you invest in learning, and it's amazing. To him who has shall more be given. You start sowing, you start investing, you start growing with $5, $10 becomes 50, becomes 100. God gives seed to the sower and bread to the eater. You could call in. And don't get mad at me because I'm telling you this, because what I'm trying to do is break you out of the cycle that something's going to change supernaturally when God has really given you the ability to get wealth. And I'm telling you, as a man with an Ashkenazi Jewish heritage, the Jewish people were told that God gave them the power to get wealth. That power was a divine attribute that would be merged and combined with wisdom, so that the Jewish people have always been able to thrive regardless of what kind of an environment they're in. But it's a God-given Abrahamic grace, and it's a wisdom. And so if you get a hold of wisdom, and you're in the 10% that have wisdom, 90% that have money may end up losing it, and you with the 10% may end up getting it. It's called the wealth of the wicked laid up for the just. So start by investing in getting knowledge, and then watch what happens. So what kind of knowledge do people need, Karen, if they're beginners?
Okay, well, there's many things that we've kind of covered here. So I'm going to lay out some information that's going to help you. First of all, a lot of people are looking at 2008 and they're saying, oh my goodness, we're going to hit that again. We're in that same situation, and we're not in that situation. And I'll tell you why, is that in 2008, there was not the shortage of supply that we're seeing today. At that time, there was 55 million people that were trying to buy homes or were active prime home buyers. And in today's market, it's 60 million. So let's just take that off the table. We really don't expect the crash, so that you can set that aside and say that doesn't need to stop me. Mercedes was talking about interest rates. We were in a situation where interest rates were at 2 and 3%. The government was artificially lowering those rates, and that's just not realistic. So the interest rate environment that we're in now, I was in banking 25 years, is actually normal. It's between 6 and 8%. And so you can take that obstacle off the table. So when we look at knowing like, hey, God's going to prosper us, I'm going to get the knowledge. We teach you with the things that you want to look for to make a decision on purchasing real estate and keep you within what we call the rails to run on. And when you do that, think about it. Interest rates are eventually going to go back down. So if you hit those cash flows, Lance and Mercedes, in this interest rate environment, when the interest rates go down, you can refinance that and you can improve your cash flow even better. And by the way, during that time, someone else is paying down your mortgage, right? Mm-hmm. You're not paying it because you're either doing it as a vacation rental or a buy and hold, or maybe you're doing a flip to get some fast cash to be able to invest in something. And as someone's paying down your mortgage, you're getting cash flow and you're going to experience appreciation. And that is why real estate is one of the best ways to build wealth.
I know we're both jumping on this thing right now. I was with Miles Monroe at a meeting when he changed my whole mindset. Great entrepreneur from the Bahamas, great apostle. And he said to me, real estate is a biblical entrepreneurial strategy because the meek shall inherit the earth. Look at the earth as though it's destined to be yours because the meek inherit it. So God, he said, right there, I knew real estate. So the Lord spoke to me and said, if the meek are going to inherit the earth, start to learn how to acquire the inheritance. And he started buying real estate in the Bahamas. And so I thought, what in the world? Bing, 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 lights were going off. And I'm in the marketplace. And I needed to hear that voice go on. So it's not just buying, because I think people have limited understanding. So I want you and Mercedes to help us expand our matrix. So when we hear real estate, the novice thinks, well, I can hardly afford the house I got. How could I get another house? But you're also talking about flipping properties, and what's this Airbnb? Because every time I'm traveling now, even Annabelle is doing this. She's finding places where we'll stay at a property, which is an Airbnb. So there's other ways of cash flowing things other than trying to get someone who's permanently renting a property, correct?
Absolutely. And one of the things Dave and I are personally working on is making sure that we've got a diversification going all the time. But let me tell you about vacation rentals. The industry for vacation rentals in 2020 was about a $12.3 billion industry. Projections are by 2028, it's going to be a $107.4 billion industry. So can I tell you, even though I know that there's some areas that is not working, the concept of the Airbnb or the vacation rentals is not going away. And an interesting thing about vacation rentals is that they're actually more prevalent in Europe than they are in the US. So that tells me like we've got some market to really grow into here in the US. Let me tell you something else that's interesting about vacation rentals. The biggest demographic that is renting vacation rentals is Gen Z. Think about that. That means that the people that are coming up as income earners, they are the main demographic that stay at vacation rentals. And I think anytime that we're looking at an investment, we want to make sure that it's not in that decelerating mode, but it's actually in that accelerating time that it's getting ready to boom. And I really think that when you look at the vacation rental market, there's something there. So we personally have several vacation rentals. We as a family manage now 7 of them, which is significant. They're a lot of work. but they're very lucrative. So if you've got something coming in there, you have the opportunity where you can see nice spikes in your income. However, it's not always consistent. It goes a little bit up and down. So it's seasonal in some cases. So that's really nice where you maximize properties in the right area. Then you balance it with buy and holds, long-term rentals, and then you do flips to be able to create wealth in the short term so that you can go out and invest more for long-term wealth.
And what I love about what you're doing, the reason why Annabelle, I'm going to help get her focused on this because she wants to do it, is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were 3 generations of Jewish entrepreneurs. The idea of the family business is where wealth is the greatest concentration of wealth in the United States. Comes from owning your own business, but real estate becomes your own business. And you've now got your son, and he's married, and he's actually working with you because you're able to do this. Like, people are nervous, like, well, I don't know, my area is really expensive. Yeah, but you got properties in other states. And now your children are deployed, and they're helping spy out the land, check on the properties, work with property. I mean, it's a family enterprise, isn't it?
It's absolutely a family enterprise. And you're right, Lance, it's very biblical. The other thing, too, that really woke me up to this is I was reading a statistic, and it was saying that most wealth that is acquired by parents is gone in the 2nd and 3rd generation. Mm. And, that just really shocked me. We could work really hard all our life. We could build wealth, but if we don't teach and train our children how to manage wealth, that wealth will be gone and dispersed back into the world. Mm. And that is not what we wanted. So we realized, Rockefellers actually did a great job with this. They had family meetings and made sure that the family knew how to do business. But it's biblical. We teach and train our children. And so we thought, why not? Let's do it now. I don't want to wait, until we're almost ready to maybe go to heaven and then hand over a bunch of money, and then our children have no knowledge of how to manage it. Mm. And I think in these times when we pull together with our family and we teach and train our children, that is what's going to change and make transformation happen in this nation and over the world. I'm going to share one more thing here and then turn it back to you guys. I can see you've got a question. But Oral Roberts has said, his quote is another thing that's really impacted me. And he said that whoever controls the finances in a region controls the spiritual climate. Mm. That's impactful. And it just motivated us like, you know what? This isn't about us living in a nice house and having a nice car. There's nothing wrong with that. We're super blessed. But this is about helping our nation, helping our communities, helping our area live in the prosperity and in the climate of God. And that's what this is all about.
Man, that explains something to me, because if you look at New York City, LA, San Francisco, to be honest with you, Christians move away from those concentrated, hectic, I would say, there's more oppression in those areas. I can close my eyes and go into a city. It's almost like sometimes I can see I'm going where the principality is in Washington. I can picture it. I'm going under the cloud, but the anointing, I'm praying for God to cover me. Christians leave that. We're out in the rural. That's why we have red flyover country. We're out there in the rural areas. We get away from that. But you're supposed to occupy till he comes. The Apostle Paul went to 19 out of 24 of his locations were all central commerce government cities. And it's where he planted those apostolic churches. And I'm saying that because that quote about the finances, I never thought about it. But the devil has such a control over the cities, because the finances there are like working with that weird spirit. Then you look at why do people choose to live in this place? Well, because the people that control the city aren't living in the same place as the guy getting mugged and walking over the sewage every day. They're living out in the wealthy suburbs. They control the property in the cities. They're not affected by crime. They're living out there with a gated community. Now it's so true. It's practical. But I don't. If you've given so many great points, and Marcel, I'll let you break in here, but I want to go to how to get the training, because I'm hearing about Airbnb. I'm hearing about look at the interest rates. Look at certain areas of the country. Someone's going to own the real estate. There's opportunities as we even hit financial stress and pressure. Instead of being moved by fear, I remember Donald Trump back in 2008, Neil Cavuto interviewed him and said, Donald, tell the people something to encourage them. And poor Donald Trump hadn't learned his presidential empathy, script yet. He said, let me tell you something. There's more deals out there now in 2008 with a market crash, a stock market crash, than we've ever had before. He said, I just bought a vineyard in Virginia. I don't even know anything about wine. Because if you've got the ability, so what he was saying is, when the time gets tough, a lot of people end up losing property. And this is the time when you want to think, are you thinking in terms of going under or going over? Because being forewarned, you have a strategy.
Yes.
Anything you want to add to that before I go to the workshop?
A couple of things. One, to your point, most millionaires are creating during recessions. And the reason for that is money moves, right? So you see the whole tech industry right now collapsing, and money moves. Money wants to be put into a safe store of value. And like you're saying, real estate is like that. It's a biblical concept. And what I want to say is what I feel like when this streams right at the beginning, it's almost like wealth is a dirty word. And especially now, because I know it's difficult for a lot of people out there, but my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that is what Karen offers, Billy offers, and what these great teachings that she has. And I know you want to talk about it, but my point is it's not a dirty word, and it's for you. And I think that what you're really battling against, for those who have ears to hear, they hear. But for the person who's coming up against it saying, oh, I don't have money, I don't have anything, you're dealing with a spirit of hopelessness. You're dealing with something that's telling you will never overcome, you will never have more. Everything's getting worse. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. And your only hope is going to be the rapture. And let's get those cows over to Israel, those red heifers, and just hope the Lord comes back and rebuild the temple. That is not the mindset of an overcomer. And so I want to exhort you, and I want to tell you, you are the head and not the tail. And the way that you overcome is through knowledge and applying that knowledge. Like, yes, for prosperity, yes, checks in the mail, gifts and surprises and all these things. But honestly, it's you learning the skill set. For people who are hearing me now, it's you learning the skill set, and you get something like that through experts and like market mavens like Karen, Dave, Billy, Lance. That's why you listen to Lance. So anyways, I just want to speak to that because I feel it in the broadcast. I feel it when this is going to air. That spirit's going to come up and be like, oh, I don't have anything. I can't do this. You can. And literally, Karen can show you how. And all of these experts that she has, she can show you how. Because it's not just like go buy a house, because I've gone to this class before. They tell you specifically, look for this market indicator, this market indicator, this market indicator, and that's the house to get. Oh, and by the way, here's how to do it with like no money down. I'm not even joking. So, and we bring you things we do. I'm going to stop. But literally, we only bring you stuff that we're actually doing, that Lance and Annabelle are investing.
Absolutely.
I'm doing.
Matter of fact, my wife's been to these workshops. Obviously, I've been at Cousin Billy's. I speak at Wealth Builders conferences, and but now I'm telling you that I see the family anointing. Annabelle's coming in. I want to get my kids in because I see a vision now that I cannot allow myself to live under the tyranny of partial knowledge. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing because I've worked with economic reset awareness about our debt structure as a country. It worked against me because I didn't have corresponding knowledge of where the opportunities were. And so I was, for 10 years, I wouldn't talk to people about investment in anything. I was telling them, get ready, get ready, get ready. And it's since I created this kind of multiplied sense of anxiety while other people were actually making money. And now I recognize the danger right now of people saying, yeah, I wish I heard that 5 years ago, but right now, the digital dollar collapsed the economy, trillions of dollars of debt. Well, hold on a second. Is that faith talking or is that fear? And that's your problem. Isaac sowed during famine and reaped 100-fold. It could be an economic famine and God could be giving you property. And you have to set your faith for this. Now, here's what I want to tell you. There is training. What you got to do is immerse yourself in the stream of anointed teaching from people that are doing it, not making money selling it, but actually doing it, practitioners. October 13th through 15th, write these dates down. October 13th through 15th, you can attend an immersion experience, what I call an immersion experience. either in person, which is what I recommend. Get in the environment where the anointing is and network with people there. Or you can do it live stream because maybe you can't afford to fly out, or, or your schedule's such that you can't pull it off. I want you to use the code, write this down, Lance200. Go to Lance Wallnau or lancewallnau.com/real estate and use the code Lance200. And you're going to get $200 off of the 13th, 14th, and 15th training, which is super economically priced for you. Go to lancewallnau.com/real estate and use code Lance200, get $200 off of the training. Now, if you do it via live stream, it's only $97. So you could do for $497, do it in person, $97 do the live stream, and it's 20 hours of live real estate teaching. And it includes a speed coaching experience for the live event. If you go there, you can experience the speed coaching, get as much knowledge as you can, and then sit down with a coach and say, I need to know this, 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 and this. They're going to have 12 workshops on Saturday. They're going to give you so much, you got to choose the top 4 that you want to go to. But, you might be looking at what market looks right. Where do I go for real estate? How do I get a hold of money if I don't have any money? Cousin Billy has more ways for people to get a hold of money that don't know how to get a hold of money. They'd be shocked how he can pull that off. So, and when you go to that page, by the way, you're also going to see that they have a real estate investing masterclass. And here's what I would do. That's where you're going to get a hold of all the training and teaching, including stuff that, is covered on the 13th and 15th, and things you're not going to get covered there. But you go to the masterclass and you start getting that right now before the October workshop. You start now, because the more knowledge you have going in, the smarter your questions are when you get there, or the smarter you'll be even with the live stream, watching the rest of the coverage. But I want you to do that. The masterclass also, as I understand it, includes private real estate coaching and Q&A for the people that purchase the masterclass. How many opportunities, Karen, do they have for the private coaching if they do the masterclass?
Yeah, so we do that once a quarter. So if you get the masterclass, you'll get an email from us and let you know, hey, the next one that's coming up that's live, once a quarter you can attend. And that's not just for a year. It's something that you will always have access to. So I would really encourage you, just like Lance said, get the information, get the knowledge. Every coach, every speaker that we have at Wealth Builders is in the game. There's some places you go and maybe they talk about it, but we are all active real estate investors, and none of us needs a lot more to do, but we really believe in this, and we are doing this because we want to help people walk down that path that we are walking down and really build that generational wealth, make a difference in the kingdom. So if you start with this masterclass, when you actually get to the workshop, you're going to have the ability to absorb what's coming at you, because some of the concepts, just like Dave and I, we sat in there, it was like, what? We had to hear it multiple times for it to finally sink in. If you get that masterclass, you'll be prepared. So when you come into the environment, you'll be able to receive and understand what Billy and the other coaches are telling you. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this.
My people perish for lack of knowledge, not lack of anointing, sincerity, or spirituality. Lack of knowledge. God doesn't want you to have that lack. I want you to go to lancewallnau.com/real estate. Join me, Mercedes, my family, your family, Karen and Dave, my friends. I believe God is opening up an avenue through the future where his plans are to prosper you and bless you. Even in the midst of challenge, you should be the person taking care of others, not needing the government to take care of you. So on that thought, I'm going to end the broadcast right now for most channels and perhaps television and other things, but I want to stay over for just 3 minutes on my own podcast where I control my own time and do what I want to do. Karen, what is the 70% rule?
Oh, yeah. So this is, everything has got a system. And remember, I was explaining, like, if you follow the guidelines, you're going to be fine. The 70% rule is a series of calculations that helps you to assess if a property will work as a flip. And there's some markets that flips are like this market that we're in. We've got 2 active ones going right now, is a great flip market. But the way you stay safe with that is you follow this thing called the 70% rule for flipping homes.
I love it. Okay, real quick, I want to ask you a question. What does a right market look like?
That's a great question. Well, there's a series of things that we look for within the calculations. And I'm going to just rattle these off here real quick. Some of the things that you want to analyze. You want to look at the median income, and you want to look at the actual area and see that you can buy a home that's really no more than 3 or 4 times the median income. The reason for that is if we hit a difficult time financially, you've positioned yourself in the market where most of the people are going to be able to either purchase or rent your home. Another one is setting up a minimum $300 cash flow. And we show you how to calculate that. That's really important. We also cover something called a 10 to 20% cash on cash return. This was something that was new to me. I didn't understand it, but it really has kept us safe because you want to compare. If I put money into real estate or if I decide to invest maybe in my business, where's my best ROI? And one way that you can calculate that is see how much you're going to earn off that property with the amount of cash that you put in. And that we go through that in detail as well. And then finally, just simplistically, we love to use something called the 1% rule. If you can get in a market where you can purchase a home, let's say for $250,000, and you can rent that home out for around $2,500 or 1%, that is a real clue that you are in a market that could be a very good buy and hold market.
Just think about this, folks. Those boom, 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 boom. That's why knowledge is power. That's the reason why people that have the knowledge will have the wealth, even after the shakeup, even after the breakup, even after all. You know what happens is if everybody suddenly had, there was a whole collapse, after like 30 to 60, 90 days, the people that have the knowledge actually have rebuilt already. Because the knowledge is where the power is. It's not in the cash. All right, LanceWallnau.com/real estate. Use code Lance200. I want you to look at the Wealth Builders Masterclass, and I want you to look at attending the 2-day workshop. Believe me, you add that up, and the combined investment of that is less than 3 days of vacation time, in Orlando. It's powerful.
Well, and the nice thing about the masterclass, since we're just going over, the nice thing about the masterclass is you can do that online and you can do that with other people. So, I'm already thinking like, man, I'd really love for my aunt to get a hold of this and like we could look at this together, because I love what you're saying about like family business, kingdom family business. And I'm like, that's something you could split with somebody. It's like everybody kicks in like $100, and then you all go through it together. I think I hope I didn't come on too strong earlier. Did I come on too strong?
Because no. It's perfectly fine because you're passionate that you don't want people. You pick up on stuff.
I do. I felt it like the whole time. I'm like that whole beginning section. Like the minute we said wealth, people are going to get triggered. And I'm just thinking, and I'm like, you're meant for wealth. Like you may not believe this. You're meant for wealth, and I'm meant for wealth. And the only thing that's standing between you and wealth is the knowledge of how to do things like this. This is just one way to create wealth. And Karen can teach you how to do that because she's done it herself. That's what you started with. Like Karen didn't used to have 9 properties. Karen used to work in a bank and, through a series of life events at a call center. And now she's got 9 different properties in Florida. You too. There's nothing different between you and Karen and you and Lance or you and me. It's literally just knowledge. That's the only difference.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing it, but I'm going to learn it. And I'm coming in just like Karen and Dave did years ago. I'm coming in with like, all right, let me ask some questions because this isn't my area. But I'm going to take that exit right now, and hope you enjoyed our little bonus session here because I got 7 nuggets that are all valuable and powerful. And thank you again, Karen. Send my love to cousin, and God bless you all. If you take action on LanceWallnau.com/real estate, you will not regret it. God bless you. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Did you enjoy this latest episode? Please remember to share it with your friends, because the more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to navigate the world